투자의 재발견 미다스의 손 시간입니다. 오늘은 가상자산 ETF와 가상자산에 대해 카나리 캐피탈 대표와 알아보겠습니다. Great to have time with us today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Wonderful. First question is introduce your company.
My company is Canary Capital. It's only 18 months old, but most of the team came from Valkyrie, which launched the first Bitcoin mining ETF in the US, the first NASDAQ-traded Bitcoin futures ETF, and one of the many first spot ETFs, competing with firms like BlackRock. We sold Valkyrie and decided to do it all over again in Canary. So we brought a lot of the team from Guggenheim Partners, where I was before, as well as Valkyrie, and we decided that we're going to focus on altcoin ETFs. So we launched the very first XRP ETF, the very first HBAR ETF, and the very first Litecoin ETF in the US.
ETF market over the next 5 years?
The ability to have crypto in ETFs has been a game changer for institutional investors and financial advisors. Previous to that, it was primarily a retail investment product, as well as some hedge funds. But now that there's ETFs that exist, you're seeing large pools of capital invest in them. Large sovereign wealth funds, insurance companies, pension funds, endowments even are investing in crypto via the ETFs. So now that there's been a Bitcoin ETF for a few years, as well as now altcoins such as XRP and HBAR, we're seeing a lot of institutions starting to buy. And we're very, very early in this. So I believe 5 years from now, you're going to see a very large crypto ETF market globally.
More weight on BTC ETF or Altcoin ETF?
You know, initially, I do believe that there's going to be more weighting on the Bitcoin ETFs. But as time goes on, I believe that the market's going to start looking at utility and functionality. And right now, where the focus is of Wall Street is actually the utility of, number one, tokenization, and number two, stable coins. And of course, any types of financial transactions. So I believe that a focus is going to shift away from Bitcoin and onto platforms such as XRP, Solana, and Sui, as well as HBAR for enterprise-related transactions. And then finally, there's a focus on privacy. So a lot of the privacy tokens are taking a front seat. Bitcoin doesn't have privacy options, but Litecoin, which is very similar to the code of Bitcoin, did implement privacy features to make your wallet private and your transactions private.
Grow most in 3 years.
Our firm began as a hedge fund, and when we launched our altcoin ETFs, it quickly overtook the hedge fund business. So right now, our ETFs are the primary business. We are investigating doing more on tokenization and stable coins, which is something that I've done in the past, but now I feel like the market is ripe for that. So 3 years from now, it could be ETFs, but tokenization might actually take a front seat for us.
To adopt STO and tokenization?
There's been a really big shift in the last year where large institutions are starting to focus on tokenization. Everywhere from Apollo, BlackRock, and Fidelity are focused in this area. It's an area that I actually started in 2016 when I first started in blockchain. So it's been quite interesting seeing everybody else catch up. Previously, there wasn't much of a market in it, but there was a lot of people trying. But now I believe there's a market in it, and it's really going to take off in 2026.
What's the biggest regulatory risk?
There previously was a lot of regulatory risk in the U.S. around crypto ETFs. And with Trump becoming president, he's put into place the head of the SEC, the head of the CFTC, the head of Treasury that are all pro-crypto. So they've all adopted policies that allow you to create crypto ETFs with a lot less risk. The U.S. is also in the midst of creating a market infrastructure bill that would actually even further define the crypto markets in the U.S. to eliminate even more risk. And I believe that this bill and these policies are probably going to carry over into other countries and jurisdictions to adopt things similar that would make a much better ecosystem for crypto.
How is the ETF potential in Korea?
I think there's a massive potential in Korea. Given that Korea is smaller than the US, there are just as many trading pairs with the Korean won than there are with the US dollar. And of course we know that it's not just Americans, but it's other countries that are trading with dollar to crypto. So what that means is there's a greater number of people in Korea that are trading crypto than in the US. So if crypto ETFs were launched in Korea, I believe it could be one of the biggest markets in the world.
What do you think about key driver on ETF growth?
Retail will be the first to come in and buy ETFs. We did see a shift from people owning spot directly via exchanges to moving over to ETFs because they feel like it's safer in their brokerage accounts than in a exchange. The next iteration was financial advisors. So financial advisors are putting anywhere between 1 and 2% of their client portfolios into crypto in the US. There are some advisors that are aggressive and even putting up to 5%. And then finally is sovereign wealth funds and pension funds have a strong interest. So I believe that over time, the allocations will be higher and more institutional investors will begin to utilize ETFs to invest.
Thank you so much for your insight, for your sharing.
감사합니다. Thanks for having me.